Beauty from Ashes. Welcome back. As I told you last time, it's easy to call life tough. But do you really mean it? And how tough is your life? Because you lost a job, life is tough. Because you broke a nail, life is tough. How about the person, her life was changed in an hour? I welcome again Sarah, who I was very honored that she accepted to be interviewed. And the idea is not to give fame to anyone, but rather to give comfort to many people. So many people are going to benefit from her life and her resilience because so many are suffering. And as the Bible said, while they were afflicted, he was afflicted. This episode may be tough on some fine hearts. Please use your discretion. Sarah, I would like to go back with your memory, although I know you may not have a lot of memory, on the day that started as any other normal day in your life, but was far from that at the end of it, the day you lost your legs. Tell me how the day started, where you're going, and let's get to the point when the tragedy occurred.
So it was May 10th of 2017, and I had just finished 5 years of work in the same pharmacy. And
5 years?
Of working in the same pharmacy.
Same pharmacy, okay.
Yeah. I finished a 12-hour shift, and I was driving home. The only memory that I have is I called my husband and I told him I picked up subs for dinner and I'm on my way home. He was home with the kids, and that's the only thing I remember. I did have a witness that she knew where I worked, and she reached out for me, and she was the one that was there at the site of the scene. According to the reports and to what she said, that I was driving home and a 20-year-old didn't see me. I had my white coat on, and apparently I was behind the car. I had my car on the side of the road. I was behind the car. And this 20-year-old that was driving his mom's car with no insurance just squished me between his car and my car. I lost conscience at that point. I still friends with her, the witness. She said that she was behind him, and he didn't get any ticket, or there was nothing to go after for him. The only thing that I could think of is that maybe he was on his phone or something, not sure. But she said that there was other cars before him, and I had my flashlights in the back and I had my white coat on, so it wasn't like I was not visible. She came out of the car, and there was other people that also came out. She said that she prayed on my head. My head was face down on the ground, and until the ambulance came. Luckily, she had some medical background, so she told them to be very careful and not to move anything in my head. And ironically, she told me that there was not a single drop of blood at the site of the scene, which by the time I got to the hospital, I had lost every single piece of blood. She can tell that I had lost my legs at that.
So you had internal hemorrhage, internal bleeding, not outside. Is that what you're trying to say? You bled inside.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you told me the date of the tragic accident. When did you actually start waking up to actually realize you are alive?
Yeah. So I was in a coma. When I reached the hospital, they rushed me to the closest one. It was a level 2 trauma hospital that was not equipped at all for my kind of case. But there was a doctor also there that he told my mom actually we didn't know what to focus on. She came with a major brain trauma, C2 fracture.
So C2 means neck fracture.
It was called the hangman syndrome.
Hangman syndrome, yes.
So he didn't know it. So a spleen was ruptured. The rib cage was broken. Everything was affected. He said it was just, I didn't know where to start. There was too many things. The amputation, had to be performed to stop the bleeding was the first thing he focused on. It's from there I was in a coma for 15 days because it was very critical to do that C2 surgery. The doctor there had never done that surgery before. It was his first time ever. And my family and my parents wanted to move me to a better hospital, but they told them they would have to sign that I wouldn't make it if they moved me from this hospital. So we had to take our chances. And luckily he did a great job with that surgery, because after that I went to chance to do other surgeries on my arm for nerve, and they were amazing.
Let me stop you here. So you had amputation of both legs above knee, somewhere here, and they did a fixation of your neck.
Yep.
You didn't tell me much about your left arm.
This happened from the avulsion of the neck. It made me have a paralyzed left side.
So you can move your fingers of the left hand, but you can't raise your left.
I can't do anything.
Okay.
They were expecting that this was going to affect all the left side.
Yeah.
So at that moment, everybody in my family was concerned about, there was one side that they had to try to put a chip to make it stay with the lens and all of that. But at that time, they were just trying to close up the wounds because there was a lot of wounds, high risk of infection. Everything else, I was in all ventilators. I had the halo, the trach, everything on. Once they stabilized and that surgery came out, I woke up at the 15th day. That's when I came out of the coma, but they had to induce me in a coma additional 2 weeks, because I had multiple surgeries, like over 50 surgeries between those.
50?
Yeah.
And of course you are completely unaware of this month of your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started to be aware. They started little by little, the nurses, when they're doing the dressing changes, to mention that. And
mention what?
That I lost my legs and I was in a very bad car accident. And I used to write, like when I started to be more aware, and I wrote Gabriel, my son's name, on a piece of paper, and everybody in the room looked at me and they were like, oh my goodness, she still remembers her son. And just seeing the smile on their face, it gave me like hope, because they thought I was just asking about him. All I could think of at that moment was, were they with me in the car or not? I didn't know if they were with me in the car or not. So when everybody was just smiling and they said, yeah, he's out, and she remembers his son, it just gave me the most peaceful feeling I needed at that moment.
Wow.
And when I remember also something very funny is that I had, Halim was by the bed, my husband, and I was
Sorry, 1 second. So the first person you have seen from your family that you remember was your husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
He was next to the bed, and I kept telling him, my toe is hurting. My toe is hurting. And he would like go and move the sheet at the end of the bed or do something.
So making believe that you have legs.
And I remember getting so mad at him. And I said, I know I lost my leg, But I'm telling you, I feel like, though, it turns out that's phantom pain that
Yeah.
happens to anybody that lost.
Phantom pain makes people think
You
they
feel-
still have the pain.
Yeah. But I.
So you were actually, at that time, you were aware you lost your legs from the nurses.
The nurse is the one that,
And when he was trying to make believe rubbing your toes, you already are telling him, I know I lost them.
Yeah.
And what did he do with that information?
Nothing. He was just, he was like, okay. Everybody was silent. It was a big conference in the hospital of how are you going to tell this person when they wake up from this coma that this is what happened to them. So they actually were a little upset with the nurse that is the one that told me, but I think it kind of, I was on a lot of meds as well, so I wasn't like fully aware, but slowly started to get the memory and the details of it.
What did you read in the faces of your mom, dad, husband? What
all of them were always there. Like the comfort I have was that, my dad, he was like already searching like all hospitals and contacting like doctors in Hopkins and all kinds of places with new surgeries for walking from that time, like from the very beginning. My mom was nonstop praying. Like there was two sides of the prayer. Some people that after they talked to me personally and they told me that we were praying, but we also thought that it's the damage is so big that how is she going to be able to live like this? So half were praying that God would give me rest, that's part, and half of, and very few were like, no, she's gonna make it and she's gonna be able to.
So there is a group who's actually praying that you go in peace
because of
almost
how severe it was. And especially the ones that were very medically knowledgeable with all the details.
They couldn't believe that you could survive all of that.
It was just mind-boggling. The doctors and everybody is just, it was a 1% chance of living when I went in that.
So when you told me so many miracles occurred, is that on top of them that you actually lived?
That's the big miracle. I had, the first thing was the brain. I had major brain trauma. So I was supposed to be not able to talk to you like this, to function or anything. So that there was no intervention for that. They just left it and said, we'll just see how it happened. Then of course the neck was the second major thing because as you know, like the C2 fractures, it's just
you can lose respiration as well.
Yeah. And I remember I had the trach and they gave me like a swallowing test to be able to take it off. And I remember the nurse always she's like, no, when they stay that long on the trach, it's really hard. So I went in and I failed the test. But I always felt like I'm going to be able, I know how to swallow.
Just for the audience to understand, failing the test means when you swallow, it goes into the trachea and the respiratory system, so you cannot live without the tube.
Yes.
I see.
I had this tube and since I was more aware and they said I could try to take it out.
Yeah. I wanna stop you here because I think you are moving into a different level. Anger. I want to kill myself. I don't want to live. Did it occur to you?
What occurred to me the most was that I accepted that it was just me and my kids were okay. That was a peaceful thing. But I had no idea how God is expecting me to take care of them.
Yeah.
That was the most thing that I couldn't figure out a question, and it just didn't make sense. Like, I'm the one that used to do everything in the house. I wasn't one of those moms that assign chores and do anything, which is not that good, by the way. You should try to give them chores so they learn early, but they had to learn at an early age. things that maybe I would have never thought of. But I used to ask Abuna that all the time. Like that.
So the thing that bothered you the most while you're still in the hospital, how I'm going to take care of my kids?
Yeah.
Not how to walk, not how to drive, not any of that.
No, I remember telling Abuna, I'm okay with what happened. There has to be a reason why it happened, and it's just me, because if it would happen to one of them or my husband, I think the feeling is different. I don't know, maybe that's why I was okay with it, but I just had a hard time understanding how I'm supposed to take care of my kids like this.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I needed somebody to do
Take care of you.
for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. I was bedridden. The first thing they asked me to do was just to sit up like this. I made a huge deal. You want me to sit down? That's like impossible. So between that, taking a shower, doing my hair, there was nothing that I was able to do on my own. Nothing.
Sarah, I don't know what to say. This is very humbling. This is beauty from ashes. I have to stop this episode. We will start another episode next time. The point here is not to expose wounds. The point here is not to bring another program. But the point here that I meet so many people that I become dumbfounded, not able to respond to their pains and sufferings and afflictions. Because sometimes staying silent sometimes is better than many words that are empty. So when I found this jewel, the beauty that came from ashes, I felt she should be talking to everyone who is afflicted. And to those who have pseudo afflictions, maybe we will all learn resilience, power, and grace of God. Thank you.